7 o'clock on a cold and miserable morning up on Mount William, the Duwul camp. Had a little bit of rain last night. We're heading to Durd today. It's about 14.5 k's over the Major Mitchell Plateau and Mount William, so the highest point on the walk. So yeah, it'd be interesting in these kind of conditions, but anyway, I think I'll be wearing a few clothes today. All right, catch up with you when we get going. All right, it's just after 8. It's our earliest start yet, and we're leaving Duwul. Joe's just doing the final adjustments to her arm pack. We're socked in the cloud a little bit this morning. You can see the sun trying to break through, but I'm not holding much hope for it. Good news, really good news, is we've got about half an hour to our food drop, and there's chocolate in it, so that'll be good. The bad news is if this cloud stays or the rain comes like they're predicting, we're going to be walking over the Major Mitchell Plateau in the shitty weather. Oh, how nice is this light? It's actually not super cold. It was colder last night. It's probably, I'm guessing, 6. There's no wind, so it's actually doable. So, food drop, second food drop. First one was in the Halls Gap, which wasn't as exciting because we had all the town food there. This one's up in the Mount William car park in the misty, rainy shit. And there's 2 bars of chocolate in there. That's going to go down well this afternoon, I reckon. Up on the Major Mitchell Plateau somewhere. It looks pretty miserable. It's actually, it's not the worst conditions I've ever walked in. Still rather it be sunny. Oh, a nice little spider's web, but that's not going to come up on the video, I don't think. So it's not all sweetness and light on the GPT. There's a bit of a road bash up here to Mount William, and it's a steep road bash too. Now normally you'd have views that'd go for miles, but unfortunately we're going for atmosphere today. I'm just trying to keep up with Joe. But the good news is it's not really raining much, and there's not a lot of wind down here. I don't know what it's going to be like up the top. So the good news is we're getting higher, clouds getting thinner. Well, it's coming and going a bit. There was a patch of blue before. But of course, as soon as I went to get the camera out, the cloud came back. So Joe's foregone the side trip to the summit of Mount William. That's a sacrifice today, I tell you. My OCD's kicked in, so I'll head up just to bag it, so it's only about a few hundred metres. The sign said 100 metres, but I think that's the fire towers. I think there's another spot a bit further on. We shall find out. Well, they're not fire towers, they're communication towers. So, up on the highest point, the Grampians Peaks Trail, Mount William. It's cold, but it's not ridiculously cold. Got the sound of the wind sighing through the telecommunication towers. At least they've got good 4G up there. Alright, not much point hanging around, not much point to see. It's really a tick and flick, this one. Let's head down to Boundary Gap and catch up with Joanne. So this loop is part of the Grampians Peaks Trail. It's part of the old Major Mitchell Plateau loop. And once again, doesn't look like they've done a lot on this particular bit of the track anyway. I'm guessing they've probably prettied up once I get up on the plateau, and I guess the climb out of Boundary Gap, they've made that a little bit easier. Maybe, I don't know if it uses the same route off the Major Mitchell Plateau as we used to use, but that was always pretty steep too. So they might have done something there, but they've certainly left the rough edges on this bit of track. Just gotta be careful going downhill on this loose stuff. We're flying along today. Jo's ahead of me. She's waiting down at the gap. Unless I catch her before then. If you use your imagination, you might pick some blue sky. That's Boundary Gap ahead of us in the gloom. How good's that? Blue sky. That's what we've come out of. Let's hope we're heading into that. I've got my doubts. So we've just dropped down that rough track. Jo's just a couple of minutes behind me. We're it's leveling off a bit now. We're heading to Boundary Gap, probably just around the corner up here. And then we've got a big climb, so I reckon we'll stop at Boundary Gap and have something to eat. So, the trees are dripping, but it's not really raining, so that's a positive thing. So we're just climbing out of Boundary Gap, and looks like the Grampians Peaks Trail people have done a bit of work coming up here. So we never used to have all these dry stone steps. Yeah. Coming down the other side from Mount William was pretty rough still though. I'm wondering if the little cliffy bit at the top, what they've done there. Because it used to be a bit of a scramble. I think right near the top up here. Haven't been here for about 25 years, but back in the day. So we're just still climbing up out of Boundary Gap. The rain is just starting to come down again, which isn't ideal. I'm getting to the cliffy bit now, near the top. Well, not near the top, but getting closer to it. If it's pretty miserable on top, I might not get too much video up there, and I think we'll see how we go. So we're up on the Major Mitchell Plateau. No long range views, but the crags are looking pretty good in the mist. The sun's trying to come out every now and then, but to be honest, it's not going to come out, I don't think. We're going to get soaked too, because the track's, we're getting a bit of a scrub massage on the track, and the scrub's wringing wet. But all good. My pants will dry off pretty quick. I remember up here years ago they had some of those steel boardwalks. Not as flash as these ones though. It's a nice little respite from the rocks. But they've done a lot of work on this track though. There's rocks everywhere now reinforcing it. Haven't had any mud, any swampy bits at all. So this is the patch of dirt that is the first one in Wannon campsite on when you do the Major Mitchell walk. There's a toilet in the bushes here somewhere, I saw. Not too sure This is where I spent a night 25 years ago in conditions a little bit more inclement than this, in a bivvy bag. It's a nice enough camp up here. It's basic stuff, but now they've got the toilet. Probably the creek's a little bit safer to drink. But yeah, it's all about the views from the escarpment. Oh, there's the roof of the toilet through the trees over there. It's pretty epic up here today. We're certainly getting teased today. You can see down from the edge of the escarpment on the Major Mitchell Plateau. You can see sun in the paddocks down the bottom in the distance. Occasionally clouds coming back now, make a liar of me. You can see these massive escarpments, massive cliffs. And we're up here, chuffing through the cloud mostly. Still getting teased. I don't know if you can see through down the valley down there. A bit of blue sky up there. So this is Durd, or Durd. Our camp tonight's named after this mountain or this high point. We're about 1,150, 60 metres up here, so it's quite high. I think this is the highest point on the Major Mitchell Plateau, but that could be a feral fact. Anyway, we've taken the obligatory selfie. It's time to head down off this plateau because it's getting cold. So we dropped down off the Major Mitchell Plateau. We're under the cloud ceiling now, a little bit. So yeah. So the good news is we're going down. Bad news is we're going down this stuff. It's loose and rocky. I think they just found a screw slope, chucked a couple of yellow arrows on it, and away you go. It's a Grampians Peaks track. It's all Adventure Plus there. So we just come down the screw slope from hell. Now we're on some steps again. You gotta still be pretty careful though, because everything's wringing wet, and it's still exceedingly steep. But that screw slope we just walked down was really, really slow. Look like the roos would love this area. Alright, we made it to Durd. It's fairly inclement. There's no shelter at this little oasis either. So I'm heading back to the triplex. I've just had tea. The walk, it was pretty good today. The walk up into Boundary Gap from Mount William is rough as guts still, and the walk off the Major Mitchell Plateau down towards Stockyard Saddle is really rough in one spot. But you know, most of the day was pretty good. Although as you would have saw from the video, I saw on the video, if you've watched this far, it's the conditions were far from ideal. But yeah, all going well. I think this was day 8-ish. I don't know, I'm losing track a little bit. Tomorrow we've got a shelter, so it's meant to rain again tomorrow, but hopefully we can get into a shelter and at least cook in the dry. We'll see how we go. It'll possibly be one of those open end jobs, I guess. We'll see what happens. All right, I'll catch up with you later.